Hello and welcome to Psychobiology. My name is Melissa Ferguson. I'm just going to give you a very brief overview of the syllabus. You really do need to read it in its entirety, in depth, making little notes to help you remember things and then be successful on the syllabus quiz. We do have a required text. Psychobiology is a really dense class with a lot of new vocabulary, new information. So I really do recommend getting this required text and reading it preferably before you go through the modules of the Canvas classroom. I lecture from the 13th edition. However, the 12th and the 11th should be satisfactory if you find an older edition that is less expensive. You can, of course, get it in the bookstore. If you get it online, just make sure it comes in a timely manner. It's not as much of a problem these days. An ebook, whatever works for you, but I do recommend having the text. If you have Cengage, as a publisher for some of your other classes, Cengage Unlimited is a really good deal to get all of your texts for one price. So look at your other texts for your other classes and see if that might be a perk for you. I do not require MindTap, so if you purchase that and it has the access key, just keep in mind that I don't need that for my class. The best way to get a hold of me is my email. We are an online class, so email is the best way to communicate with me. Because we won't be meeting face-to-face, please make sure that you put your course name, Psych 250 or Psychobiology, and the CRN in the subject line, as I do have multiple sections of this course, as well as other classes, just to make it easier for me to know where to go to answer your questions. If you would like to meet with me in person, I'm in Lit Lang, Social Sciences 378. I will be on campus Mondays and Wednesdays. So I will have in-person office hours from 2:30 to 3:30 after my classes. This should say PM, not AM. And then Tuesday morning and Thursday afternoon, I will have office hours via Zoom. You can schedule appointments for those in the Student Connect tab. And if those times don't work, please email me and set up an appointment. I'm happy to set up times outside of those scheduled times. Office hours are for you to come and ask for help, and I want to be as flexible as possible in trying to help you. So once again, my name is Melissa Ferguson, and I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I do have my PhD in neuroscience, so I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Melissa Ferguson, and I do have a PhD in neuroscience, but I'm happy for you to call me Melissa, whether you're emailing me or we're communicating via Zoom. However, if you're not comfortable with that, Dr. Ferguson, Professor Ferguson, both of those are fine as well. So this is me many, many moons ago when I got married. We actually just celebrated our wedding anniversary this past week. These are my children. Camille's 10, Tyler is 12, Carrie is 16, and this picture says so much about their personalities. I have a bachelor's in psychology from San Diego State University. I started off thinking I wanted to be a clinician, got involved so I could have strong applications. I did research in developmental psych. I got involved in campus and on campus and in the community. And then when I was taking my first experimental methods class, I really fell in love with research, knew that the type of research I wanted to do was not developmental research. And so I postponed going to graduate school and decided to go on to the PhD program and decided to get a master's in psychology just to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. So when I was doing my master's, I ended up doing physiological psych research, fell in love with that, did animal research on a disease called Wernicke's-Korsakoff's, which we'll talk about in here. Never thought I would do animal research, but again, fell in love with the animal research, slicing brains, staining the tissues, all of that. So from there, I went on and I did a PhD in neuroscience at USC. My area of specialty there, or my emphasis for my dissertation, was aging and plasticity in the brain, which was, on the fringe applied to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's and even stroke research. From there, I went really far away from psychology, and I did a postdoc in biochemistry at USC. I was supposed to be taking the information that they had about different assays and aging in other tissues of the body and apply it to the brain. It didn't work out so well because the brain is a fatty tissue, as we'll learn this semester. I was doing some good research, publishing, but I was really far away from psychology. I had my firstborn while I was there and really wanted something a little bit more family friendly. So I ended up becoming an adjunct professor, which is a part-time professor teaching at community colleges. I taught at Cerritos to start off with, and I taught there for 12 years part-time. I also had some classes at Long Beach City for a couple years, and then the year before I started here full-time, Golden West, and then also here at Orange Coast College. It was a great gig. For 12 years, I had a nice schedule a nice balance between my family life and my work life, and it was great. And then as Camille was going into kindergarten, I decided it was time for me to try my hand at full-time teaching. I love teaching, and so I applied here at Orange Coast College, and I'm now in my 4th year of tenure track here at Orange Coast College, and I plan to be here for quite some time. So this class, Psych 250, is psychobiology. It is the study of the biology of behavior. So we'll be looking at the brain, the different cells in the brain, neurons and glia, their structure, their function, the development of the nervous system, hormones, neurotransmitters, how all of that influences different behaviors. So the first half of the class is really what I call the nuts and bolts, looking at the structure and function of the brain, and the nervous system we'll learn about as well too. And then the second half of the semester, we take all that information. So you really want to make sure you learn and understand that information from the beginning, those nuts and bolts, because then we apply that to different behaviors: sleep, movement, reproduction. Towards the end of the semester, different mental disorders. We look at the effects of drugs and addiction. We'll talk about learning, memory, thoughts, language, all that stuff, and how that basic function of the nervous system and the brain influence those behaviors. And so you'll be tested on the text, of course, my module pages, which are the lectures that you would have if you were face-to-face. Various assignments are a good place to go to kind of look and see like what kind of materials you should be learning. Group activities would be the discussion boards that we have. And then of course I have a lot of other videos and stuff besides just my lecture videos that are also included in the modules. And so any of that, of course, is free game to be tested on. So as you're going through the modules, make sure you're taking notes on all of that different material. So how to succeed in this class? First, you want to make sure you're navigating the pages of the modules in order. You aren't simply going to the dashboard and completing a bunch of assignments. Go to that module page, start at the top of the module, read the welcome page. It'll give you some tips on how to be successful in navigating through that module. Read each page, watch all the videos, and take notes. That's important. Those module pages and those lecture videos, that's like the material you would get in a face-to-face class. Sure, I give you my PowerPoint slides, but that's really so you can jot down notes while you're watching those videos. It's not for you to just use those slides, because you'll miss out on information, examples, things that I expand on that aren't in those PowerPoint slides. So watching those videos is really helpful. Plus, I actually have some extra videos in each module that will assist you in learning that material, that may replace some of those PowerPoint slides, things that I found that were a little bit better for the online environment. But the important thing is take notes and really focus on seeing what you understand and what you don't understand, and spend more time on that information you don't understand. Don't skip assignments or fall behind. You have to stay on top of everything in an online class. You need to stay organized. Don't wait until Sunday to do all the assignments. All that, going through the module pages and reading all those pages and whatever on the page and watching those videos, that's not homework. That is what you would get in a face-to-face class lecture. So you don't want to wait until Sunday when maybe you're doing your typical homework, because that's going to take longer than you would normally spend on homework. There are going to be homework assignments. You are going to have bigger assignments that you do need to complete, and maybe that's what you wait till Sunday to do. And don't just skip assignments because, oh, I realize if I miss out this assignment, I still have my A or I still have my B. Because you never know when you're going to lose out on points for something else, and you might need those points, those easy points later on. And then just don't fall behind. Try to complete everything on time. Try to, space out the work during the week. Give yourself, even if you're working full time, give yourself an hour every night or 30 minutes every night to work on this class, and then finish up everything else over the weekend. I would suggest an hour and 20 minutes twice a week, because that's what we would do in a face-to-face class, and then you have the weekends to study, read the text, and do homework. Reach out and connect if you need help. It's important. Do this early on. Don't wait until you fall behind. Don't wait until you don't do well on an exam. If you're not understanding the material, you're watching the videos, you're reading through the material, you're reading the text, and you aren't understanding, reach out to me and during office hours, via email. If that doesn't work for you, reach out to the Student Success Center and or do both. Okay? Those are there to help you. Those are the tools you need to be successful. My office hours are meant for you to come and ask me questions. And it doesn't have to be just about this class, but that's what those office hours are for. We're in an online environment. I try to clarify as much as I can in those module pages, but sometimes for some students, it's just not enough. That's what those office hours are for. The Student Success Center also will have specific tutoring for psychobiology. Those are students that were successful in this class. That's another place to get help. So like I said, me during office hours, Student Success Center. So I wish you the best this semester. I look forward to getting to know you through the online environment. I hope to see many of you in my office hours, whether it's via Zoom or even in person. I'm happy to see you because I know some of you are doing both classes online and in person. So I'm happy to see you in person as well. And I hope everyone has a great semester.